Hello my darlings and welcome to a new reading vlog. Hopefully this is just 1 week of reading in my life. Just 1 week, 1 week only in my life. So let me tell you what I've already picked up because I have started reading something, and that is Good Girl by Anna Fitzpatrick. So this was listed as being like Secretary, Fleabag and Sex in the City. And in this you have Lucy, and Lucy is a millennial who works at a bookstore. But beneath her good girl exterior lies a woman who would quite like to be tied up by a man and told what to do. Her dating life is a carousel of red flags. And then enter someone who not only knows how to boss her around, but also tells her to write the book she's been putting off writing. Being with him opens up a whole new world for Lucy and she becomes smitten, but eventually her beau decides that Lucy's just taking too much time away from his main core relationship with his burlesque fiancé, so he decides to end things. Lucy then becomes obsessed with a 1970s counterculture teen magazine that's full of very questionable advice, retro misogyny, and big-haired angst. And as she reads on, she realizes girlhood has always been complicated and media has always been a mess. And Lucy must now juggle her desire to be good, her desire to be tied up and spanked in someone's bedroom, and her desire to not work in a soul-destroying media landscape, which is a lot for one woman and her vibrator. This is very much giving hot, horny, messy, unhinged woman. Gateskill is mentioned a lot. Gateskill's Bad Behavior book, which is a collection of short stories, contains the short story that was the muse for the movie Secretary. But Gateskill's story is nothing like Secretary the movie. I have read both as well. Gateskill's story is literally one about sexual assault and depression and misogyny, whereas, the movie was hot and sexy and about BDSM. I'm enjoying the book. It is fun to read. There are some bits I don't like. So in this book, Lucy sometimes writes to her former lover, whom she calls Sir. And those parts feel a bit like, obviously, diary entries, but also a bit like soapboxing for the author. So they don't feel entirely genuine and they do take me out of the story a little bit. But this book is very much reminding me of the book New Animal by Ella Baxter, but less serious, more silly. So it's just a silly, fun time. It is feeling like a 3.5, but I'm enjoying my time reading it. She's just messed up and super horny and just doing everything, going about everything the wrong way. But, I'm enjoying my time. So I'm reading that. I also got In the New Age of Sexism as an ebook, but I don't know if I want to read it as an ebook or if I want to listen to it as an audiobook, because I actually do really like consuming nonfictions as audios, unless they have a lot of diagrams and imagery. If it's just plain straight text, it makes it feel less like I'm reading a textbook. But I don't know, I might start reading it, and if it's just really, really good and I don't want to stop, I'll continue on. If I decide, you know what, I actually like to wait and consume this as an audiobook, I'll do that. But that is a possible contender at the moment. Today, I'm going out with my mum to do Christmas shopping because it's the final day of Black Friday sales, which no longer just are on Black Friday, they continue on. But it's the final day and I do want to cash in on the the savings, because Christmas is only 3 weeks away. So I don't think there's going to be any more sales right before Christmas. And I also don't want to go shopping right before Christmas. That is insane. So I'm trying to get it all knocked out today, buy everything that I need to buy and be done with it. This year I decided to give the kids $50 each to buy me a gift, because normally there's no present under the tree for me, obviously. And the kids always then feel sad for mum because they're opening all these presents and mummy's got nothing. And I don't know why I didn't think of doing this sooner, but yeah, I'm giving them money so they can go and buy something for me and put it under the tree. So I'm interested to see what they get me. Obviously I'll find out at Christmas. I might buy myself something to put under the tree. I don't know. After the expenses of buying for everybody else, I'll probably be like, nah, I don't need anything. I don't need anything, I'm good. So I'm doing that. I might go to the library today too, because I've got some books that came in. It depends on my stepdad, because my stepdad's going to drive me and my mum, because I'm still not like 100%. I'm not contagious, don't worry. Like day 16, the doctors told me I'm good to go. But it's lingering. Like I'm not recovering very well. So stepdad's driving us. So I don't have to, and I really hope I don't have to subject you to too much more of this nasal voice. But yeah, so that's what's on the agenda. So that's what's on the agenda today. I'm hoping to start off my summer drink quest with a fun drink today. So I'll do that too, but I'll show you some things, probably just the books that I got. I can't show you any presents for other people. But yeah, that's what's going on today. And hopefully this goes for a week and we're done. But anyway, I will touch base with you guys later. Hey guys, I'm back. It is absolutely pouring outside, but I've got buckets in the window, so I should be right. Should catch all the water. I had a POTS episode, so I can't hear at all. So if I'm yelling or talking too quietly, I apologize, but I got everything done. I'm done. So for my family's bad Santa thing, I got this from Sephora. So this is like a Fenty little makeup thing. I always just get something that I want, so that way I can pick my own present, but it's bad Santa, so we can all steal from each other. But most of the time I end up keeping what I pick. Valentine for Christmas, I got her some stuff from Pandora. Indie, Pop Mart, blind boxes. Gonna have to wrap all the stuff. Obviously I got the kids more things. I got myself a snack to try. Mozart piano bar, like a chocolate bar. It looks nice, so it says all natural ingredients. Oh, actually that's pretty good. Actually is pretty natural. Okay. I normally side eye when it says natural. I hope the rain isn't too loud. Okay, so this is a size. That's delicious. That is a 9 out of 10. Do like. Would recommend. Yum. My mum bought me a Christmas gift. So she got me Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. So I will be picking that up in this vlog. I also got some clothes for the kids. Some pajamas, some bathers because it's summer. My mum got the girls some stuff too. So I have to, what's the word? Wrap everything. I also went to the library and I picked up Pick a Colour, Suvankam Tamavongsa, probably not how you pronounce that, but this looked interesting. This is about loneliness, love, labour, class, told over a single day in a nail salon. Then I picked up Crimson Light, Polished Wood by Monika Rasuski. And it says, this is about someone who relocated to Melbourne from London and falls in love with a fellow female teacher who dies of cancer, and then while grieving they befriend a Polish woman who lives next door. Just looked like a really cool cover. And then this was part of my TBR, so it's pick a book based on what's on display at the library. So I picked The Haunting of Paynes Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I have read Kelly Armstrong before, so I'm not entirely sure this will be for me, but this was one of the horror books that was nominated on the Goodreads. So I thought, all right, let's check one of the other horror nominees out. I've almost read the entire horror category now for the Goodreads. I think this is based on Sleepy Hollow, or, you know, similar vein. So those were the 3 books that I picked from the library. I'm now going to go and I'll see you guys once I have read something. I think the kiddies are upset that they didn't get any Christmas presents. They're staking their claim.
Hi, honey.
Hello my darlings, it has been 2 days since I last updated you because yeah, after filming and doing the Christmas shopping, I lost my voice and sort of regressed for 2 days. So I had to take a break and recover until my voice was somewhat back. This is just a killer illness. It's just taking me forever, but I don't know, man, what, like another week I'll be back to normal. Hopefully I'm not too nasally today, but I know my voice isn't 100%. But I did get quite a lot of reading done, so I'll tell you what I DNF'd first. So I did DNF Crimson Light Polished Wood. The writing style just wasn't for me, so I did DNF this. I also DNF'd The New Age of Sexism by Laura Bates. So with this one, it wasn't anything I didn't already know, but I felt like the book was very fear-mongery. And so I really didn't appreciate that. And as someone who unfortunately is part of the sexual assault statistics, I just don't want to be continually reminded of the assault, harassment, and victimization of women. And like I said, it wasn't anything new. I already knew everything that she was talking about. But yeah, the tone of the book was quite heavy on the fear and scare mongering, and not so much on the what can we do to change this and hope angle. So I did decide to DNF that. Some general housekeeping. I had 2 lovely viewers say that they had tried to buy me a book from my wish list for my birthday, but the link didn't work. So I apologize for cock blocking your gift giving. I have fixed that now. I'm pretty sure I fixed it. I'm not great with tech, but thank you for trying to buy me a book. And I also have to say a big thank you to Tom, because thanks to him, I now have a new Kobo. So this is the Kobo Libra 2. So it's what I had previously, except this one is a color instead of black and white. But also I got a case for it so that I don't smash it like I did my other one. And as you know, I dropped this multiple times and it was on the fritz. So now I can read glitch-free. So thank you very much, Tom. This was very exciting. I've already transferred all my books over. I hope they all made the cross, but I still need to use this one for my Kobo cull, because when I put the books on here, it put them in alphabetical order rather than the order on which I downloaded them onto this. So I'll still use this for my Kobo cull vlogs, but this is for everything else. Now let's get on to the books that I did finish, which is exciting. So the first book I finished was Good Girl by Anna Fitzpatrick. And this ended up really being horny millennial girl chaos. It was a comedy of dating disasters with some thoughtful commentary on power, consent, and the question, how do I be a feminist when I want someone to call me a slut? I will say though, I don't think this is for everybody. Lucy is very self-centered and her inner monologue is a non-stop merry-go-round of intrusive thoughts, oversharing, and self-flagellation. Despite that, I still found the book fun in a messy kind of way. The main themes were feminism, desire, kink and empowerment, self-worth, shame, sexual agency, the performance of being good, media exploitation, girlhood narratives, and just being a millennial with insecurities. I ended up giving this a 3.5. I think it's very much of the same vein of New Animal, maybe with a bit of acts of service. Be forewarned though that the kink, the BDSM representation in this one isn't great. It's not. That being said, it did have one character that was doing BDSM the proper way in terms of informed consent, and then a character who was not. And for me, it crossed the line into just straight up physical assault and abuse. So be forewarned, but yeah, I enjoyed reading it. I then picked up The Haunting of Paynes Hollow by Kelly Armstrong because I did want to read as many of the horror Goodreads nominees that I could. So I picked this one up, and this is about Samantha Paynes, and she has not been to her family home since the night she witnessed her dad burying a child's body. She testified against her dad took his life, her and her mother then moved away, but unfortunately her mother has advanced dementia and the assisted facility care home that she has put her in is sending her bankrupt. And then all of a sudden, her grandfather kicks the bucket and she has to return to her spooky childhood home, which is her grandfather's estate, because in his will, he stipulated that if you want my millions and millions of dollars, you have to get over your trauma and go stay in the murder cottage for a month. And so along with her aunt, she does. She goes there, she meets a very grumpy caretaker who's also been contracted by her grandfather to be on the property. And she arrives to find mutilated animal corpses, lake creatures who crawl out of the water, and missing relatives. As her memories that she has suppressed begin to resurface, she starts to wonder, was my dad a kid killer? Was I a reliable child witness? And are these walking drowned corpses real or just my stressed out imagination? So this was a domestic suspense meets lakeside folk horror mashup. For me, it leaned a bit more towards thriller than horror, but it was full of unreliable memories, murky family secrets, and don't go out at night energy. Sam, our main character, is anxious, determined, and confused AF. I ended up giving this a 3.25. I didn't like the romance angle between Sam and the grumpy caretaker. He just rubbed me the wrong way. And yeah, okay, dude had some trauma too, but it didn't excuse his shitty behavior in my opinion. Like, get some manners, bruh. I was also super pissed at the demise of a character that happens off page and just felt very sudden and rushed and without the emotional impact that it should have had. It happened a lot too. There are a lot of characters who were killed off and they were innocent, and I felt like the deaths weren't given justice. That being said, some perpetrators did get what they deserved in the end, which thank God. But yeah, it was fast paced. It was very easy to read. It did have the Sleepy Hollow parallel, like they do mention Sleepy Hollow in this. So the mythology is kind of based on that story. But I don't know, it just felt like a standard thriller with a bit of a paranormal aspect attached. So yeah, it was a 3.25. I definitely don't think it should have been nominated. I'm surprised it did. I don't know, maybe people really like it, but I thought it was a bit average. Something similar besides obviously Sleepy Hollow would be Hazelthorn. There were some similar vibes, not in the writing style, obviously. And then I picked up Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. This was a 5-star read. I loved this. So let me tell you about it. Obviously, it is a little bit of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but in this you have Lissa, and she is an orphan whose brother was killed by the beast. And since then, she has made a promise to her deceased brother that she will hunt down and kill every Fae-like creature, because the beast was created by the Fae, who have since left the lands, but their creations and abominations still persist. So the Fae, to punish humans for indiscretions, would create these trolls and creatures to punish the humans for what they did. So if they poisoned a lake, they would create this sea serpent that would go and kill everybody. But she has been trying for 13 long years to find and kill the beast, but it refuses to show up to its own execution. And then along comes Aldrich Casimir de Laurent, a man who dresses like a peacock, spends money like it's going out of fashion, and yet somehow knows exactly where the beast is. So naturally, the rich dandy and the rage-fueled monster hunter must team up. And as they gather magical ingredients, they bond, banter, brood, and discover that they both have issues. But together, they might just kill the beast, or the intimacy avoidance. This was fantastic. It was a great fairy tale fantasy. It was fast, chaotic, a little bit feral, but emotionally satisfying. So Lissa is the patron saint of, I can fix this with violence, while Aldrich radiates, I throw money at my problems, but in a very sexy, mysterious way. Lissa has issues, in my opinion. I don't always love the very angry, throw fists first, questions later, stubborn, wall up characters, as much as I love the Aldrich type characters who a flawless, would absolutely bone this bisexual babe. I love effeminate men, and he delivered. So people said, I think this was likened to Hal's Moving Castle, in that Aldrich was a bit like Hal, but I think Aldrich's even better than Hal. It was a very classic dynamic of grumpy versus sparkly, except the sparkly one is hiding a dark past, and the grumpy one does occasionally stab him. The world building leans into fae weirdness, creepy forests, and folklore vibes. This is friendship to maybe more, and it's the heart of the book, their relationship, their dynamic. There is no romance in this, okay? So they don't fall romantically in love. They do love each other as friends, but come on, guys, come on. You're telling me that they don't eventually take it to the bedroom? She doesn't eventually pin him down while he alters her dresses? Like, come on. Surely their friendship will grow into something more. Because this is very much of the vein, love me at my worst. And that is what they do. The main themes in this were emotional trauma, grief, forgiveness, trust, found family, and healing. As I said, I just had a really good time. I thought the pacing was fantastic. It is just about the dynamic and the banter between these two. Like I said, Aldrich is my favorite type of male character, and I enjoyed the world building in this in terms of how the magic worked. There's also other characters in the found family aspect that you come to know and love, and just about how it was also very much about how sometimes you don't have the full picture. Sometimes you are so emotionally driven to see this from a certain point of view that you are unable to ascertain other truths that are just as valid. And that sometimes, even though you feel righteous or justified in doing what you do, maybe it's not always the right thing to do. But I would read more from this author, absolutely. But like I said, the only thing that would have made it even better was a bit of romance. I'm a lover of love, okay? And if there are two wonderful characters, I want them to fall in love. Being friends is fine, but love is better in terms of stories, and so yeah, I still, in my opinion, in my mind, these two do end up falling in love and living their lives together. It was very sweet, and it was touching. And I will say, do check the trigger warnings. There were some heavy things brought up on page that I wasn't expecting in this book, but 5 stars. I love this. I will be keeping this book. I wish there was a special edition, but there's not, unless I'm not aware. If there is a special edition of this, do let me know. But otherwise, yes, wonderful, wonderful book. Speaking of books, I also got in my special edition of The Sleepless by Jen Williams. So this one just comes with some sprayed edges and end pages. So that's the spine. And then we've got a map and a pattern on the back. But this was a 5-star YA fantasy for me that I really enjoyed, and will definitely read the sequel of. So I wanted a copy for my bookshelf. So what am I going to read next? Let's see what I've got. Oh, I've got The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. So this is a graphic novel about a girl and a monster, I believe. So I've got that, and I will definitely read that today. I love, busting out a graphic novel. I've also got this, Pick a Color. I will look up how to say that author's name. I don't want to butcher it again. But yeah, this is told in a nail salon over a single day. So I will give this a go as well. So those two are next on the agenda. How many days do I have left of this vlog? I've got today. So I've got 4 more days left before I finish it. So we'll see what I read in that time. Apologies for not updating as I go, but I could not talk. But today I've got to take Indy to the dentist. And then Valentine's got some friends coming over because high school kids finish school earlier than junior school kids. I think that's everything. I don't think I'm doing anything else today. Summer, it's finally summer. And the summer weather is starting today. So it's going to be hot, 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 which is great. I'm not going to sunbake today because I don't have time. I've got kids coming over But tomorrow, I'll for sure be sunning my buns. But I will update you guys once I've read some more books. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Hello. Hello, darling. I love you. Good morning, guys. The Goodreads winners are going to be announced sometime within the next hour, I think, because we're in Australia, so I am awake once it hits midnight over there. So I will probably film my Goodreads Choice Awards after finding out who the winners are. I ended up getting in The Merge by Grace Walker yesterday on Libby, so I went with that because that was one of my anticipated reads, and it was one of the Goodreads choice and nominees, I think, for sci-fi. So I'll tell you what it's about first. So it's about Laurie and Amelia. So they're mother and daughter. Laurie's got dementia or Alzheimer's, and Amelia decides that she's going to participate in this program to merge her consciousness with Laurie's in order to preserve Laurie or save Laurie, keep her mother alive. So what the merge is, it's when they get two people and they get the consciousness of one person and they put it in the body of the other. So there's one body, two people. Now in this world, it's a dystopian world. Climate change has happened and the world's gone to shit and there's not enough resources, too many people. So what the government has decided is people need to merge. So they do it by enticing them at first. So the enticements are that if you don't want to pay insane taxes, and also if you want to keep your house, you have to merge. So anybody that is not a combine, that's what they call people that have merged. If you're not a combine, you don't get to keep your home. You get moved into this government housing, which is horrible. And if you want your house back, you just got to merge. So that's the coerced consent option, and the other one is forced consent, in that if you're an inmate in a jail, you don't get a say and they will merge you with a random person. So already the whole concept of it is a bit full on. I'm like, I don't really think they could get away with this. That it'd be more ethical just to randomly kill people, you know, do a lottery and it's like, oh, you're going to have to die now, than to force two people to cohabitate in one body with one person having to give up their body. So anyway, in the book, we're with Laurie and Amelia. So they're doing this round of merging, which is a bit more complicated. So obviously in this case, Laurie's Alzheimer's. They never merged someone with Alzheimer's before. There is also another couple who are pregnant. And obviously, as you can imagine, in a world that is overpopulated, they don't really want children. And so if you decide to have a child, you better be rich. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to pay to keep your child. So they decide to merge into one body to be able to keep their baby. And then there is two brothers. One of the brothers has leukemia and is dying, so he wants to save his brother's consciousness. And then the last one, the most controversial, is a father and daughter. The daughter is 17, so she's definitely not of legal age of consent, but they don't care in this world. If you're a child, you don't get a say. And she's a drug addict, so the father decides you can't be trusted not to go back on the drugs, so you're going to have to share my body. So already we got some really fucked up shit, because supposedly you have two consciousnesses in there, and supposedly both people can access both people's memories. So if you are sharing your father's body, you're gonna be able to see all the times he banged your mum and everything else as well. Pretty fucking disgusting. It's pretty disgusting. Personally, I wouldn't want to merge with anybody. The thought of never being alone in my head, as an introvert, that makes me want to, I'd rather die. I would rather choose oblivion over permanently sharing mental space with someone, unless it was my child and they asked me to. I wouldn't want to, but if for whatever reason, some circumstance, my kid's like, please mum, I need you to do this, then yes, I will do it for my child because I love them unconditionally. I wouldn't be very happy about it though. But anyway, so we've got this whole Uber pool for consciousness going on. You have to not really look at the world building, so to speak, as in the whole idea of this, if you scrutinize it, is ridiculous and stupid. But the idea of it is also interesting in terms of creating dialogue and thinking about it. Would you merge? Yes or no? And if so, why or why not? If you take out the coercion part, because that is just fucking disgusting. So if you just said, oh, this was an option, would you do it? Or if you had to, if you're forced to, who would you pick to merge with if you could choose who you merged with? Unfortunately, the execution of this was not for me. I've ended up giving this a 2.75. You find out in the end what's really going on. And to me, that is just not a sustainable business model. If that's what's happening, you cannot do that on a large scale. But that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to expand, and there's an actual business term for this when you take a process and you decide to increase its capacity and output, upscale. Can't quite remember, but this company that created the merge is sort of trying to get it to become mainstream and available for, all countries and enforced in all countries. But when you find out what it is they're actually doing, you're just like, you're going to be found out, because that is going to fail. You can't keep doing that on a large scale. It is not scalable. It is not scalable to that degree. If this is what you're doing, this is the process, you can't. So I felt a bit silly that this company would try to, get more business when getting more business will put them out of business, so to speak. And it made me angry how things progressed. I just got annoyed at Amelia and Laurie. I felt like, well, not Laurie. Laurie was a big victim in this. Like it was hard reading about her with her dementia. I have lost multiple grandparents to dementia. So it's something that I am intimately acquainted with, obviously not personal experience of it, but firsthand witness of it. So my heart went out to her. She really is an innocent victim in this, as well as the 17-year-old child who was getting no say about being put inside her dad, and obviously the baby too, but when what happens, I was just so angry and irritated. I'm like, really? Okay. This is why you're an idiot. This is why you need to have fail safes. This is why you needed to have more of a proper plan and not to be some Dumbo that's just going to assume she had no escape plan essentially. And that's just stupid to me. And I won't expand on what I mean by that. But yeah, these things happen. And then this book was drawn out. It was way too long. The pacing was off, and just the way it ended, I wasn't impressed. So yeah, the idea of this was cool, even as flawed as it was, but the execution just was completely lacking to me. And like I said, the only character that I liked was Laurie, but with her dementia too, her chapters were repetitive by their nature, because she was just going about her day and trying to remember what she had forgotten and clear her confusion about what had happened and what hadn't happened, and also the anger that comes along with that. Because, they think that they do remember, and then they're told by other people, no, you don't remember. But then there is actual gaslighting in this, so then that is frustrating as well, when she's being gaslit and just told, no, it's your dementia, babes. So I'm disappointed, because this was definitely an anticipated read, and I thought this was going to be phenomenal, and I was going to be emotionally devastated and mind-fucked by it, but instead I was just irritated and annoyed. So 2.75. I am now going on to that graphic novel with the girl on the monster. I'm just going to quickly check my Libby, because I think I had something else come in. I know at the library I've got a whole bunch of books that just came in, so I might pop out and get them today. I think I will, because I do have an appointment with my daughter's school, and that is the only thing that I have on today. I've got the Book of Memory by Mark Rowlands. It might not be the time for that, since I've just read a book about memory. I might leave that for the next week. But yeah, we'll see what's coming at the library. And I've got to keep refreshing Goodreads to see when the winners are announced, and I'll touch base with you guys once I have read some more. What are you thinking, Nova? Oh, you're so sleepy. What are you doing, Blue? Licking yourself. Good morning, guys. So originally I had planned on going to the city, doing a city day, but I woke up at 4 a.m. with horrible reflux, and there was no more sleep for me. It was actually before 4. It was like 3:37. And I was like, yeah, no. can't go on 4 hours of sleep. It's not enough. So changing of plans today. I think I'm just going to
go to some local op shops. I've got a lot of books and clothes I want to donate, so I'll do the op shop stuff. And I will also probably go to the library, because I didn't get to do that yesterday because my ex-boyfriend decided to randomly stop in for a chit chat. So I've got lots of books to pick up. So I think that's what I'm going to do today. This morning I've got my daughter's assembly because she's getting an award, and then she's got a colour run in the afternoon. So it's a bit of a packed day. Now, I did finish a book yesterday. So I did finish The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. And this is about a tiny, polite child that gets adopted by a 7-foot-tall plague goth deer demon. And they are forbidden from touching, because if an outsider, the demon, touches an insider, a human, it curses the human. So in this world, you've got insiders, humans, and then outsiders that live in the woods that are these tall, shadowy demons. And so this dark demon that she names Teacher tries to raise her without ever making personal contact.
No touching! No touching! No touching! No touching! No touching!
Which turns their daily chores into this very sad little mime routine. And meanwhile, the outside is full of eldritch creatures that are a threat to little Shiva, because if they touch her, they will curse her. So Teacher is constantly trying to keep her safe. But little Shiva just wants to reunite with her aunt, who definitely would never ever have left her and abandoned her in the outside on purpose, surely. The graphic novel is full of melancholic forests, soft monotone textures, and a vibe somewhere between fairy tale lullaby and emotional support cryptid. My voice is still on the fritz. Shiva is adorable. She's just a precocious little girl. And Teacher is just a giant emo shadow goat daddy who likes to bake you apple pies to cheer you up. It looks like a horror manga, but it feels like a warm cup of melancholy tea. It's about found family and parental love, fear versus compassion, otherness and xenophobia, and just innocence in a very broken world. As I say, Shiva's experiences with other humans is not good. The illustration style, it's very ethereal, grayscale. It's got these sharp lines against this soft, smudgy shading. The characters are expressive even with the minimal amount of detail, and every page feels like a sad forest spirit. I think the black and white does suit the tone of the book. What have I given this? I've given this a 3.75 stars. Yes, it was very sweet and touching, but it's not something I want to read more of. That does continue on. It's a series. And even though I am sort of intrigued into how the outsiders came to be, if they always existed, but then it's the whole thing of we touch you, we curse you. So were they all humans once? But I'm not intrigued enough to continue on, I guess. So I'm just leaving it there. But it was a nice little palette cleanser between books. I just want to say I've had a lot of really lovely, kind comments, more than usual lately. And that's just, thank you so much, guys. It really makes my day when you take the time to write something nice, or even just send me a heart emoji. I appreciate it. I don't know what I'm picking up next because I haven't picked it. Wait, let me just check to see what I've got. I've got that memory book on Libby. You don't want to read that. That's going to be next week. So I think I'll just be, picking out of whatever I pick up physically today. So that's exciting because I don't really quite remember what's come in. So you'll get to see once I grab some books what I end up reading next. So today is Friday. So tomorrow, Saturday, is the last reading vlog day. I'll be finishing it off tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get one more book in, I guess. One more book in before I close off this vlog. Okay, I'm back. It is insane out there. People are insane. I watched this woman run through a red light. She just missed this man that was holding his baby who was walking across a pedestrian crossing. Almost saw a homicide happen in front of me. Like, insane. I was out for 5.5 hours and I was on my way to the op shop, and then I saw that woman almost, killed 2 people, and I thought, no, I'm going home. People be driving like psychos, man. I don't want to be on the road. I'm also exhausted. I'm so tired. I don't know how people can shop for hours. It is just so draining to me. So I picked up some books. Let me show you what I got. So I've got Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian. I'm not sure I'm going to like this because it does involve infidelity, and it's about a couple, and I think they both work at a university, and then I think they cheat with one of their students. I don't know. I'm just going to give it a go. I love the cover. It's a famous artwork, but I don't think it's for me. I then got Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. So this is a little mini novella about a wild man who lives in the woods. So I assume it's fantasy because of the author. We'll see. I then picked up Ghost Roots by Pemi Aguda. I like the other cover a lot more than this one. So this is a horror book, and I think it's a collection of short stories. Yeah, it's short stories that border between psychology and superstition, sexuality and modernity in Nigerian society. So we'll see how we go. No, I'm not always a fan of short stories, but I do still try them sometimes. And then I picked this up, Emergency, once again, short stories by Kathleen Alcott. So I think this is a litfic. It's stories starring women facing points of no return. So give them all a go. Don't like them, I will DNF them, as you know I like to do. So I bought a whole bunch of Christmas stuff again. I felt like I didn't have enough, so I bought more. But I also got one thing for myself, which I don't normally do, but I couldn't resist. It's a mug. I am a sucker for mugs, and I like to swap them out each week, which one I use. So this is a strawberry mug. How much did I pay for this? Oh, I've just got a trade that's been hit. I paid $5. So I paid $5 for this cherry mug, so I'm happy with that. That's fine. And that's everything. I'm going to eat some food and go check on my trade that just triggered. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final day of the vlog. Oh, we got some raspberries. They're not looking too great though. I think they might need some water. Good morning, guys. I'll move this over here just in case one of my children accidentally come into view. That's what I mean. They're around, and I don't want to accidentally get them on camera. So we are here to finish off the vlog. I have read my final book, and that was The Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. So in this book, we have Tobias, and Tobias just wants to vibe with his woods, his cat, and his local plant spirit friends, until a beautiful meddling twink named Silver buys the nearby manor and immediately starts doing too much. So his family now owns the woods that Tobias lives in, and Silver comes knocking on his door asking him to tell him his secrets, to which Tobias says no. And then cue cursed pasts, buried monsters, emotional yearning, and the ongoing struggle of being a gentle woodsman forced to confront his supernatural trauma because a pretty man won't mind his own business. So this is a folkloric fantasy novella that feels like you've wandered into a mossy fairy tale. You've then tripped over a root and accidentally fallen in love with the green man. It has rural myth-making, queer romance, and a dash of eldritch menace and mayhem. Tobias is the main character, and he's the strong and silent type, a very stoic, grumbling protector of the wood, and Henry, Silver, is the wet cat, in human form academic, who can't stop poking things that will absolutely bite him. I thought this was okay. I gave it a 3.25. Unfortunately, the main character, Tobias, is just too wooden for me. I mean that both quite literally and metaphorically. He's just a very solemn man of few words with like no passion and emotion, and I don't know. I wanted a bit of a fire. I wanted a bit of personality. Didn't get much, and I get that, you know, yeah, there are people that are like this. I just don't enjoy reading about them. I just don't feel like they add much to the story, and I'm just sitting there thinking, why is Silver into him? Silver could do better. Silver could get any man he wants. If he wants a bear, he can easily find himself a bear. that actually does more than just grumble and growl. So yeah, I didn't like Tobias. Loved Silver, but I wanted to know more about Mrs. Silver, Henry's mom. She was a badass bitch who gets shit done. I admired her. She actually did what I was hoping Tobias would do, considering we're supposed to believe this is a love story with, oh, hello, baby. Hello, my baby. Hey, Sylvie, you want to say hello? This is meant to be a love story between Tobias and Silver, and then something happens to Silver and Tobias does fuck all. Just sticks his head in the sand and goes on about his life. And I'm like, bitch, what? Really? Like, I get you didn't know each other that long, but like I said, this is meant to be the couple of the book. But then Mr. Silver comes along and is like, this is what we're going to do about my son. I'm like, yes, thank you. My God, someone cares. So yeah, unfortunately, the letdown in this was Tobias as a character and the relationship, which I didn't buy, you know? So those are all the books. Let me recap them. Oh, my dad just sent me something. I've finally decided to go and buy a new dishwasher. I am tired of washing my dishes by hand. I can't do it anymore. My hands are getting so wrecked. I know you think just wear gloves. I don't like wearing gloves. I don't like the sensation of putting my hands into gloves. So yeah, I'm going to finally buy a dishwasher. Oh, my dad's found one that's been discounted. Okay, so let me sum up all the books I read. We had Good Girl by, I'll put that out of the way. Good Girl by Anna Fitzpatrick, and this is about a self-doubting millennial who is seeking sexual liberation, creative courage, and a working definition of good in a world full of shifting rules and questionable men. I then read The Haunting of Paynes Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. This is about a woman who inherits her family's lakeside murder cottage and uncovers the truth behind a childhood crime as something dark drags itself out of the water. I then read Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift, which I gave 5 stars. This is about a traumatized monster hunter who begrudgingly teams up with a flamboyant aristocrat to kill the immortal creature that ruined her life. Then have The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. A lonely child and her cursed, anxious monster guardian navigate a fairy tale world where touch is forbidden but tenderness isn't. We then have The Merge by Grace Walker, a novel about people who try to save their loved ones by becoming them.
Mini me, you complete me.
And then the final book was Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. A gentle forest guardian and an overly curious scholar accidentally derail each other's lives with queer yearning and ancient woodland magic. So those were all the books that I ended up reading this week. Let me know down below what you read this week. And I will see you tomorrow for a new What I Read in a Week vlog. Until next time, stay wild, star child.
Well, good luck getting your nails done.